Hi and welcome to Karate Over Coffee. My name is Cheyne McMahon and I'm your host. This is a podcast dedicated to my experiences in karate. I started karate as soon as I could walk. My parents owned a full-time dojo, so I literally grew up in the dojo as our house was on top. I've lived and breathed karate my whole life, and I've trained with some really amazing sensei, competed for my country, and I've learned so much about the evolution and history of karate. And I'm here to share my experiences and learn. Enjoy. G'day guys and welcome back to Karate Over Coffee. I'm your host Cheyne McMahon. Now I've got Andreas Quast coming up. So this is part one of a three-part series with Andreas, and we talk about why karate is awesome. So first we jump into the negative parts of karate, because there are some, and then we talk about how awesome it is. So make sure you listen to part two and part three, and I'll speak to you soon.
Yep.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Karate Over Coffee. I've got a very special guest, Andreas Quast, all the way from Germany, which you're in a very small area. Whereabouts is that?
Oh, it's southern Germany. It's of course the people here, they say it's the most beautiful part of Germany. Well, I guess that's what people always say. Where I live, it's the most beautiful part. But it's actually the Black Forest region. It's very close to Strasbourg, the European capital. And that is France. So France is just 10, 15 kilometers from here. And Switzerland is very close. And yeah, it's a river Rhine. It's a nice area. It's very green and lush green and like with a lot of curves, hilly. And yeah, it's good. It's the warmest part of Germany, actually. Also.
Okay. So everything that we would assume is Germany. Like if we had a picture of Germany, that's where you live. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So I've been talking to yourself about coming onto the podcast for ages. So, but the point of today's episode, a little bit different, is we're going to talk about all the cool, awesome, fantastic things that karate offers, rather than all the negatives that has been associated with karate over however many years, but probably under the microscope after the Olympics. So yeah, that's the episode of today. Why? Well, before we get into the positives, we need to talk about the negatives. Like get that big elephant out of the room to start with. So why do you think there is so much negativity? It's especially from our fellow karateka. What do you think is a big driver?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. I think there are multiple levels of negativity. There are very ordinary levels of negativity. There are like random levels of negativity. There's organized negativity, which is targeted. There's all sorts of negativity. For example, what I do is I check myself every now and then, and of course, as everybody who's on a news line or something on Facebook or elsewhere, you get triggered by something. You don't even read or try to understand what is the person writing there.
Sure, yeah.
Right. You're right. You get triggered for something and say, "Oh, he claims or she claims it's only for her," or something technical, and then you start writing without even considering the point that the person made. I see that so often when I post something, and people answer, "Wow, that's awesome! I never thought about that," and that was not even part of what I was talking about. Like something. It's funny, right? So it's a misunderstanding.
That actually happened to me from an episode previous with my discussion with Mitani Sensei. Somebody wrote a really long reply to it, and I'm like, that has really nothing to do with what it was about. So I don't know. They just looked at the headline and just started writing an essay about it. I agree with you. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like it's a communication, a lack of communication. It's not meant as a critic towards a person, but it happens to everybody. You know, it's like you're reading the news, but except in the newspaper, you cannot answer, but you think. You think about it. You think about the politics, the sports, and all. You have an idea, but in the social media, you can suddenly you can answer. You know, and right, you can answer. So it happens, and you have all these shoot from the hip answers. And often I understand that people don't have the time to read all that stuff,
but
right?
they've got the time to respond.
Yeah. So a lot of the negativity that we assume, also then you assume this as to be a critic towards your opinion or towards your person, and it's a misunderstanding. It's a misunderstanding in communication. So what we can try to make this easier is to make a clear communication, to make right to think about how can I write so to not trap anybody. But it's extremely difficult because in karate it's almost impossible to not step on anybody's toes. It's impossible, right? So at some point you have to assume, okay, I need to live with this. People have to grow up. If somebody gets really feisty or nasty on my wall, I don't even answer to it. I delete the people and put them away. If the people don't have the time to read or consider what I'm saying, or even if they are on posts that have probably nothing to do with karate, and they present themselves or have like an attitude or so, I tend to throw them out. I don't accept that anymore. I don't waste time for that anymore. I'm not going to have my day ruined by it. So that's one part of the negativity is a mistake in communication and shoot from the hip, and like not thinking enough before writing and pushing the return button. That's one part. Like then there's the old guy negativity, right? The old guy, he always says, we knew it better back in the day, and you know, like Wallace and the two guys from the Muppet Show on the balcony.
I could name two karateka just like that, mate.
like that, right? Always. So, and you have to, as a younger person, and you know, you can translate this to work. You can translate this to the gym. You can translate this to everywhere. You know, all the guys at some point, they get a little weird. You know, they get, you know, they just don't they just don't mind anymore. They don't have any more. Well, how does it say? No more fucks to give or something, right? They don't care anymore. So they tell you straight. They don't tell you, I don't care. They just tell you, yeah, go on, stupid, or something, right?
Yeah.
So you feel like this is a negativity, but as a younger person, you should respect that from older persons. I have the same kind of guy at my work now. He's the boss of the production. He's very good, but the younger guys, they are like, or they are almost getting physical with them, right? Because they don't understand it. That he is an older guy who has a certain like way of communicating, and so it's sometimes it's kind of difficult to understand that people from also different cultures, they are very, very, very different approach. So age, culture, education, all these things add up to another part of how it's called demographic. Right? Age, gender, location, education. These parts, like demographic differences, which makes it impossible to understand the other because I don't have that idea. I don't have that background. Right? So this is three-dimensional. Right, this is a three-dimensional concept. It's very, very complex. So there might be that's why sometimes it's better to be a little in writing overly respectful, That right? Just to make it clear,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
What you mean, right?
And that's if
You
they read it.
yeah, if they read it.
Yeah.
That's another part, right?
Yeah.
So the demographic part. You have the random part of negativity, which is just a bad mood. I slept bad, or I have a little headache.
Sure. Yeah.
I've been sitting on the computer for 10 hours and my eyes hurt, and I'm going there and let's look at Facebook, and that guy again. I'm gonna type some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt him now, right? Like that. It's not even meant like that. Then you have the demographic misunderstanding, the communication misunderstanding from demographic differences, language barriers, and all that, age differences,
Yeah.
social background, education background.
Yeah. I
And
think
then you have
the language is a big one too, because everything on Facebook is English.
Yeah.
Not everybody's first language, like yourself. Your English is perfect, but if you choose the wrong word, then it can, it can cause some issues.
Yeah.
But what else do you think is a big negative?
Yeah. It's also the target negativity, right? And this includes a lot of things. Like the targeted negativity, is an intentional attack on a person, a style, an organization, etc. pp. So, for example, after the Olympics, and I'm not talking about the Kumite technique. The Kumite technique has been criticized by basically everybody except the WKF, and rightly so. But anyway, but that's not the point. The point is that that of course, like the JKA, they would start like it was on a like an offensive on a very broad level, like from all sides, there, then from air, from below, from all sides. Everybody would start like, that Kumite is not good. What they're saying is our your JKA Kumite is better.
This is right. Yeah.
It's the JKA nose biter, pitbull nose biter kind of Kumite, and which is it's a good Kumite, but it's a new Kumite. It has been developed in the 50s or 60s. It's good, but so what they are now doing is on a very broad front. They are attacking the WKF because they believe it's better. So now they have the Olympics, and the JKA that more or less claims like, we are better than that. Why didn't you give us a chance? Why don't you include us? But then, why is this targeted negativity? It's a targeted because the JKA and the JKF, they have been fighting in Japan for years. And they have not been fighting it in the ring. They have been fighting it in the organizatory level. They have been fighting it with money. They have been fighting it with influence, with politics, with everything that everybody claims has nothing to do with karate. But they were fighting it on the courts. They were at court with the JKF.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. So, they are interests, money, power, and all that. And this is just an example. I'm not taking side on anybody. I'm just saying, don't be fooled by these clean image they have to the outside. This is a fight that has been going on for decades, and they have been using all kind of tricks. And it's politics. Don't go to Japan if you don't like politics. Don't go to Okinawa if you don't like politics. So they have, the reason why they fight over it is for example, it's loyalty, right? You have to be loyal to your organization in order to be able to rise in the ranks, right? You have to be in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and one day you're going to get a certificate of appreciation. Then Another reason for that is that there's a lot of movement in the martial arts schools. Every now and then, somebody is old enough and big enough and important enough to start their own school. So they start their own school. They change things, they change techniques, and they start to recruit people all over the world. That's what karate people do today. Japanese and Okinawan karate people to do today.
Yep.
They recruit large amounts of people, quantity, via the possibilities of the internet and social media.
Yep.
Right? They target people. They have their agents who go out there, write some PM there, write a PM there. Hey, come here, come to us. Why don't you change over?
That's I've never had somebody message me, mate.
Not yet.
No,
it's probably because you don't come over insecure. The people that go to Okinawa, newly go to Okinawa, are people who are insecure or people who want to leave their current organization. There are many people from the JKA. Recently, I heard from some people, they say, yeah, there were people, they say Okinawan karate is better than the JKA. I cannot allow the JKA to get dissed like that. And I wrote, look, there are so many people who flee from the JKA.
Yeah.
I call them refugees. I call them they are JK. I call them refugees because they run away from that sect-like group. I'm sorry that I say that, but
which JKA though? There's so many.
Yeah, and there you have a lot of negativity from ex-members, right, who were unsatisfied or who were blocked from getting hired, who couldn't participate in the career network the others are, used at because of personal references often, because, their friends take care of friends and they rise together and all that. Yeah, and they have it everywhere, and so there's a lot of animosities between these people. Former friends, former colleagues. One changes over. Let's make it simple. If a guy from who does Taekwondo changes to the JKA, for example, and then he would say the committee of Taekwondo is nothing. JKA committee is much better. So this is where then other people would say, wait a second. Then you have a sort of crisis. You have a conflict. So these are micro conflicts. These are like the reason when I was talking just 1 minute before, and I said the JKA is a sect-like structure. There are people sitting there listening to it.
Turned it off.
They will get their friends. They will get their friends in, and then they will think about how to attack, how to counter strike or something, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because this is a micro conflict, and there's so many micro conflicts because
Well, they wouldn't be listening this far because you've dissed the JKA, so they've turned it off.
Yeah, but what we are going to is exactly what you're talking about. The negativity comes from loyalty. Yeah. I have loyalty to a group, and so no matter if it's right or wrong or what the people are saying, I'm in that group, and I am right, and I move like that, like a swarm is a school of fish. If it moves there, I'm going to move there. School of barracuda. If they attack there, I'm going to go there. Yeah. Like that, right? And it's usually normal, but that's one point. I, for myself, I like to stay independent.
Yeah.
Exactly for that reason, right?
Yeah. Well,
exactly for that reason.
I think the more you train and the more you have, the more people you speak to and the more experiences you have, the more likely you are going to stay independent. Or you go into a small association where the negativity isn't so rampant, or the culture or isn't is what you want. But I think the negativity also is a lot of insecure about their karate, insecure about where they learn, insecure about their ability, insecure about how much knowledge they have, and because everything now is so easy to find, it's instant gratification. All of a sudden, something that they thought was correct turns out it's not. Like the Itosu photo. So, like my sensei is Kinja sensei, and I will tell you that the Kinja never said that it was Itosu. He said it possibly could be Itosu.
Yeah, exactly.
But 20 years later, turns out to not be Itosu. And there's so much negativity about that photo now, without people understanding the background of it, the backstory.
Yeah. They should be proud about that photo because it shows how it used to be. This is the state of knowledge that we have today. But we do, if the changes and there's proof and there's like documentation and all that, well, that it is something different comes out, then we say, yeah, all right, good. We're happy with that because we're not retards, right? I'm going to stay sitting on my tree forever, even if that's not what we do. But some people act like that, or they abuse this knowledge in order to attack someone else. Because I'm with you. Like Kinja Sensei, he said it might be the person because the photo came from that person, and then the person said Itosu Sensei is in there. And all of that, and actually, Itosu Sensei, he might be on the outer side of that picture, which is not right. So it's very difficult. Someone made a mistake, and that's all the data you had.
Yep.
So now and then things changed, and it was I forgot the name of the Kadekawa Toru. It's a researcher from Okinawa.
Yeah.
And a very good one. And he looked into the photo, and from various characteristics of the photo, at some point in 2006 or something, he said the likelihood that the person is Itosu, from all the descriptions that we have with the beard and all that, is likely. So it was not Kinjo Sensei. He said this is Itosu. It was also Kalekahu Tohu. He also didn't say it is Itosu. He just said the likelihood is very, very, very high. And it was, and then later it turned out that it's not the case, right?
Yeah. Let's change gears.
Yeah.
What's some really awesome things about karate that we don't talk enough about?
Okay, we have a lot of awesome things and positive things about karate if we really think about it. And also often it just depends on the perspective from where you are looking at the issue. Of course, for some people, one thing might be negative. For others, it might be a very, very good thing. So sometimes it's good to change perspective to make it easier. For example, I would say like many of the positive points that are true for sports in general, disportare, to enjoy some time, to have some, to let the mind wander off from issues, to enjoy the time, there's a lot of it all over various civilizations and eras. Just a moment, please. I need to close the Facebook, otherwise it's going to bing bing all the time.
Yeah, no problem.
There you go. Okay.
We'll keep that in because it is real.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that, and we have that in the Western sport. In a nutshell, Western sport is let's say like this: the idea of enlightenment from French Revolution. Then there is the new education ideas which came from there, like the kindergarten idea. The kindergarten idea is very old. It's 18th century, in Germany with Pestalozzi and all the other people, right? And it's how to educate youth. There was no such idea before, right? That's why this is important to understand where sports come from. To educate youth. Then there were the huge wars, Napoleonic wars in Europe, all over Europe, to Russia, England, France. Everybody was in there. So the idea turned toward how to educate young people towards, wearing a bayonet. It's that easy. And sports, and then they looked into the older sports like fencing and wrestling, which came from the medieval times. And they looked at it like in a scientific manner in the early 19th century, around 1800, around 1805. The first outdoor sports park, modern sports park in Europe, was built in Berlin in 1810, right amidst the Napoleonic Wars. And and it went on. And then you had the of course this was one stream. Then of course you had the English, the schools, the youth schools, the rowing, and all the sports which were basically meant to tame the youth. They were meant to tame the youth. How do we get these crazy guys a little? We have to control it. Control guys, right? So let them do something. Let them row for 10 hours so that they get tired.
Wear them out.
Don't destroy all the town after they come home from the pub or something. Things like that. And then all the other countries that were big then at the time, like Russia would do. Everybody would work on sports, and there was a mix. And then of course the United States from the 1900s onward. So it would morph. So the Japanese, the positive ideas of that, like you can make a career with it, you can educate the youth. It's important for health, for the national body, the health. You need, you want a national health to be lifted by simple things, running, swimming, like that. These ideas, these were also. They are also present in karate, and it's funny that some people that it's has to be said still today, online, as people struggling to find good reasons for karate. They say that karate is also good for your health, or it's also good for your overall feeling and all that. I think this is a very important point. And it's actually this idea that was adopted by the Japanese and implemented in the school system, right? So it was done everywhere else. People today, they have some sort of negativity. If you see old videos of the French boxing, but I don't think that karate looked much better at that time, to be honest. I don't think so. So these are things that you have to see in a broader light, and in a broader light of the days. And actually, I'm not going to get too deep into it. I'm just saying that the development of modern Budo in Japan and sports is deeply related. And 75% of why karate was adopted in school is the same idea as Western sport, and actually the idea came from Western sport. So of course the Okinawans say it's all Okinawan and so on. Let's be positive here. The positive thing is that you can tame and educate the youth, and you can raise the level on national wide or regionally by doing simple bodily movements, physical activity. So that's a very, very good point for everybody who does it. I notice it from myself. And when I feel bad and I go to training and I exhaust myself, I sleep better, right? I smell better because I sweat a lot. And this simple, very simple thing. Let's be honest. We're not everybody is going to be like we don't have to be a men's health model.
Well, speak for yourself, mate. I've got a body of a god, Buddha.
So that's a good point. Of course, then you learn fighting, and let's say something else before, like you learn socializing,
Yeah.
right? Let's assume you don't have siblings. Well, for example, I had a brother. So you grow up very different. You always do things together. He's just 1 year older than me, but let's assume you don't have no siblings. How you grow up? You have in school there maybe some people, but you want to be with your own kind, with your peer group, with the
Yep.
same age, and so you want to go there. And there are some elders, some who take care, some trainers, and those who take care that the environment is okay, that it's safe. They are probably educated, have some certificate or degree from a national sports association or so. So they're certified physical trainers and all that. So it's all good. So that these small guys, they can grow together, make friends, and all this, learn about how to deal with the aggression and deal with slight problems and communicate, and fight a little bit and all that. These are very, very, very important skills for a person to get, right? And you get that from karate training. You also get that in swimming or in athletics or in soccer or in anywhere else, but it's super important. And that's one thing, by the way, that where negativity comes from people who never went through such a thing. So there are, I used to make fun, all the martial arts guys, all the guys who were never elected within the soccer team.
Yeah.
But that's just a joke. Of
There's
course,
I don't know. I think it probably has some truth to it.
Yeah, but it's a conflict. It's a minor conflict.
Yeah.
Because it's people don't like to hear that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, people also don't like to alter kata, right? However, as we all, well, maybe not we all know. When I say as we all know, obviously it's not. But if you didn't know, kata has been altered many times for particular reasons. So why do you think that people are so obsessed with trying to find the original version, or only want to practice an original version? What if the new version is a better product? Now, what I see is, if you look at older Okinawan videos, if you can see, if you're watching on YouTube or whatever, you can see my back, but the posture for that karate back then is an old man posture, and that old man maybe was 60 or 70 years old and maybe was malnourished or survived the war, whatever, and his back is almost on a slight angle, whereas we know now that the posture, the hip chain, your pelvis, that pelvic chain should be straight, not tilted. So if people are going to continue to train like an 80-year-old Okinawan 100 years ago, they're not really understanding or embracing a modern look. So why do you think that would be?
First of all, I think that many people who present themselves as the protectors and saviors of Okinawan karate are most of the time just ego-driven. I'm sorry to say that. We have a lot of Western guys who claim to want to protect it from, falling into oblivion or, things like that. And they start groups and associations and all that. And all of that is just about ego and having the power, I want to be the chief, you know. I don't care actually they don't care about karate. They care just about that they are the chief in some kind of hierarchical chain of something. So that's what they're about. And all their activities, all their rhetorics, everything is aimed towards that goal.
Thank you for listening to Karate Over Coffee. And if you're enjoying the podcast and getting something out of the episodes, there are a few things you can do to help us. If you don't already subscribe to us on YouTube, please do so. We release these episodes every Friday morning, Australian time. Plus, we release some smaller espresso shots during the week on both our YouTube channel and our Facebook community group. You can also subscribe to us on our Apple or Spotify. Leaving a 5-star review will be very beneficial as well. If you have any suggestions or topics or feedback or anything that you want to talk about, please put it in our comment section on our Karate Over Coffee community Facebook group. If you'd like to support us, please visit our online shop where we have official Karate Over Coffee shirts, hoodies and mugs available. Your continued support is appreciated and a vital way for the podcast to keep moving forward. Thanks, guys.